everyone, welcome back to another Friday and another casual champion review. Today we're playing the stupid guy. I wanted to swear there, but YouTube is like being YouTube, so I can't. So I'm just gonna call him the stupid guy. We're playing Ezreal, and not only we're playing Ezreal, we're pulling out the Nithin special. We're doing full AP Ezreal, even though it's not that great. My experience with it anyway has been horrific. I'm sure today will be good, right? Right? You know what will be good, though? Always. Fan art section. Look at the little goobers. Little Ezreal freaks. Excellent work, fellas. Some of these guys, people put like an insane amount of time into the rendering on these things. They're astounding. Amazing work, fellas. I know Ezreal's not the most popular character for this, especially on a channel like mine, but for the fellas who did, thank you, fellas. You're amazing. This is kind of weird. I've been simultaneously anticipating to play Ezreal, but also very not, because I don't like him as a character, personally speaking. But that's just, I also just don't like characters. This is good, though. I don't like characters who are really overconfident in themselves. It irks me a bit. We'll get into that in a bit, though. Who's our lane opponent? Oh, it's Nino. I'm so used to Nico just running into lane and disguising herself, and I fall for it every single time. I don't know why.
We've won.
Why is Kaisa here? Oh, how do I fall for it every fucking time? Oh my, I play that character! Alright, so in terms of Ezreal lore, what has he got going on? Well, he was a Piltover born son of two archaeologists in Piltover that they would constantly go on expeditions. So he would be left alone to the care of his uncle, Professor Lemire, I think was his name. And I'm pretty sure this was the old lore, so I don't think this is still canon, because the uncle's supposed to be taking care of him. But I'm pretty sure in the old lore, that one guy on the Howling Abyss was supposed to be Ezreal's uncle, but I doubt that's still the same anymore. But Ezreal, as a young kid, was a troublemaker. He loved pulling pranks and being rebellious. Although he was a smart kid, he would absorb information like a sponge. So anything got thrown his way, he would instantly know what to do, pretty much. He would pass all his assignments, did really well in school, despite the fact he was kind of playing hooky most of the time. But his parents do return one day after a long expedition, and they inquire to him that they plan to go on another big expedition to find the tomb of the Shuriman tyrant ascended Nazuk, who is not even a Shuriman ascended. He's from Ishtal. So it gets your lore right, League of Legends. They believe that this tomb will hold the powers to teleportation so that they can go anywhere they want in the world at any given time. His parents could go on an expedition all day long and teleport in time for supper to see Ezreal. And of course, Ezreal likes this idea because he kind of misses his parents, as, you know, I imagine most people would. But each expedition becomes longer and longer. He goes longer periods without seeing his parents until one day, or 1 year, I guess, they never return, and Ezreal's uncle just assumes the worst, that they probably perished out on their expedition, that they're never going to return home. But Ezreal, stubborn as he may be, can't accept that, so he decides to set out on his own expedition to find them or to accomplish the goal that they wanted to. So for many months, he traveled across Shurima, going across the Great Sai Desert, which I have no idea how he survived out of there, by the way. There's like all of Rek'Sai's goobers are out there, so I don't know how a powerless Ezreal did out there. Although, actually, Ezreal does have innate magical abilities. I guess we'll get to that. But he reveled in this freedom, exploring wherever he wanted to, not bound by the rules of his school. He felt like this is what he was meant to do. This is what he was supposed to be. And he did. He discovered the tomb of Nazuk before his parents did, assuming they're not dead. But in this tomb, he found a bronze gauntlet, and putting it on his arm, he realized that they did have magical abilities. But unfortunately, it's an Indiana Jones moment, so the entire temple starts collapsing on him, throwing all kinds of traps and weapons and things at him. But using the gauntlet, he's able to blast and teleport his way to safety. So now he has a magical gauntlet, though, like I said, Ezreal does actually have innate magical abilities. It's just that the gauntlet gives him the teleportation, but also amplifies his arcane blasts. So he returns to Piltover, but decides, no, I don't want to be here. I want to go on more and more expeditions. And as he does, you know, the people at Piltover who are studying all these places, Ezreal just goes to them outright and brings back artifacts and things for them, so he becomes kind of a cultural legend within Piltover. And so Ezreal devises a plan, seeing his newfound fame. He realizes, wait a minute, maybe if I become famous of an explorer enough, my parents will return home. They'll seek me out on their own volition because they'll see how cool, how cool I've become. And that's kind of where his bio ends. He does have a lot, and I mean a lot of short stories. This is one of the League's poster children. Usually that tends to happen. So he's got kind of all kinds of different escapades, and he's even got a ton of different multiversal things. Like he's a pretty prominent Star Guardian. There's the whole Pulsefire thing where he's an interdimensional bandit, and he has his relationship with Echo. So his lore is pretty good and helps give context for his character being as obnoxious as he is. I feel like a lot of annoying characters in games are made annoying for no reason other than, well, you know, sure, it will be funny. Isn't it funny that they're obnoxious and your ears bleed? Ha ha ha. Ezreal, at the very least, has a reason to be annoying. The biggest factor, I think, of Ezreal's design is not just how he looks, because in terms of looks, he's very basic. He's very scrappy, just a big brown jacket with some jeans and some goggles. He's very restrictive in that regard, but I guess it's to pull attention to the gauntlet. The gauntlet is the centerpiece of his design and why it looks so different comparatively to everything else. He's very scrappy, very basic Piltover, but then he has this extraordinary gauntlet from a far off distant land strapped to his arm that's meant to look very different from the rest of him, to kind of give that vibe that, oh, well, he probably does go all over the place. He probably does travel to different lands and accumulates cultures from different places. That part works fine enough. I don't think Ezreal is anything fantastic in terms of design in that regard. However, I think what is the centerpiece, the true centerpiece of his design anyway, is his personality, because he is incredibly overconfident to a fault. And he's not the only one. Like, what Illaoi, Aurelion Sol, and Qiyana, I think, are the other ones that come to mind of insane overconfidence to a degree of absurdity. What the f... How did you know? How did you know? Or she flashed like the nanosecond I think maybe she has the second gauntlet of Mizuki. So to me, there's like a spectrum of overconfidence in champions, from charming to flat out annoying. And usually when there's a character that is overconfident, it's because it's either to mask something or because they are that powerful that you believe that they would have reason to be that overconfident. So as an example, in League, Aurelion Sol is God, basically, of that universe. So that kind of makes sense why he'd be super overconfident. Illaoi is a super powerful priestess who, you know, doesn't really lose in a fight to anybody, so I can understand why she'd be overconfident. Then you have Ezreal and Qiyana, which Ezreal and Qiyana are powerful in their own right, but next to like Illaoi or Asol or characters they have voice lines against, like Qiyana has a voice line against Aatrox. Like, I'm sorry, Qiyana, you're not going to win a fight against Aatrox because you can throw rocks at people. The thing is that Qiyana is completely overconfident in every way, but it's played seriously. You know, every line that she has is meant like, oh yeah, I'm just amazing and everyone loves me. You're all pathetic and stupid. Look how amazing I am. Whereas Ezreal is very different. Ezreal's overconfidence is more like, I am so amazing, aren't I? Right? Guys, come on, guys, come on, right? Please, like, Ezreal's overconfidence is played for laughs and often sarcastically and to mask his insecurities. He's using it as an outlet to make himself feel bigger than he actually is, you know? So in that regard, he is very overconfident, like Qiyana, like Aurelion Sol. The difference is that it feels more authentic. I think it helps too that he actually looks the part. He kind of looks like a guy that would be full of himself just from his face alone. He's always got that cocky grin on his face that he knows he's a piece of shit and kind of likes it. It also just, it helps with the overconfidence thing because his end goal really although it is for freedom and doing what he wants to do, he wants to see his parents again. It's kind of this facade of this character of Ezreal, the great explorer. I can words. This hits guaranteed. Guaranteed this hits. 2% chance. Yes! Shitty thing is I probably would have accomplished that with AD Ezreal just the same. So it's weird. Like, I think in that regard, it's really well done. However, I also just, no matter what you do, he's still annoying, okay? Like, it doesn't matter that it's at least overconfidence done better than Kiana. Oh. Gotcha, stupid. It doesn't matter that he is done better than Kiana. At the end of the day, he is still obnoxious. That is his prime character trait. I wish that wasn't the case, but it does make sense for his character. It's just not a kind of character I personally like. It's nothing compared to Battle Academia, though. I know a lot of people think that Battle Academia is Ezreal's best skin. I'm going to disagree purely because of his voice lines. Whereas normal Ezreal is so overconfident in his abilities, Battle Academia is, like, has no self-esteem at all, and all his voice lines are just, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do it, I wasn't strong enough, I can't do it, I don't know. Shut up, Ezreal! Shut the fuck up! He's so annoying. I hate it. He's like one of the 3 champions. I can't play voice lines. Well, Battle Academia Ezreal's on my screen. I can't do it. Probably another important thing of note for Ezreal's design is that he is the pretty boy of League. Well, he was. Probably not anymore, because we got kind of a big streak of that. We got Aphelios. Set, it doesn't really count, but we got Aphelios is the big one where we have the pretty boy kind of, you know, younger looking man that appeals to that demographic, primarily to a female audience, but also there's a general male audience who are like that. I pray that there aren't people who want to be like Ezreal. This hits, 2% chance every time, guaranteed 2%. So that bit of uniqueness that he had is gone now, though. It is kind of weird because I feel like a lot of people don't even know this because there's a lot of League Zoomers I found. A lot of people who play League now, don't even know that the mythic items, don't even know that mythic items weren't a thing like 3+ years ago. So there's probably plenty of people who don't know that Ezreal was reworked, but I wouldn't hold it against you because in terms of reworks, it was more like an ASU. One ability changed, granted. So it wasn't like Jax, for example, where they did kind of tweak his abilities, but Ezreal got a complete rework on one ability. Everything else stayed identical as far as I remember. And visually, it kind of just looks the same, but more modern, I guess. Warning shot. Don't worry about it. Like, if you look at Ezreal new and old side by side, old Ezreal was a lot boxier and clunkier, though that's because he was made back in the early days of League. But his jacket was a lot scruffier, his gauntlet was a lot more primitive looking. So the goal of the visual update was just to not completely reinvent who Ezreal was. It was like Caitlyn or Ahri. It was just to modernize the champion for modern League of Legends. And at that end, I think they did a pretty good job, though because of that, a lot of the time in certain circles, he's not even classified as a rework, though I probably would. I mean, they did end up changing an ability. It's not like Caitlyn or Ahri where they didn't change anything gameplay-wise. If I remember what his old W even did, his old W was like a skill shot that, like right now, would pass through minions, but would hit champions, though it would go through multiple champions and would grant him attack speed, but also did a burst of damage. So you could still go AP Ezreal, though AP Ezreal used to work a lot more back in the day because his Q scaled better off of AP, whereas right now my Q does no damage, and I'm pretty left to this W-E combo. Oh, that's some good damage, man. That's pretty good. You know what, on gameplay, there's something I want to talk about with Ezreal, because he is one of the champions in the exclusive club of characters who can build pretty much whatever the hell they want, and it will work. Ezreal, I think, to a lesser extent. You got the 4 champions who can build whatever the hell they want, and usually it will work. You got Ezreal, you got Volibear, Kai'Sa, and Katarina. And you notice, like, I'm playing full AP Ezreal. Admittedly, this is in no situation ever the best version of Ezreal you can play. This is a stupid, cheesy build where I kill people with WE and then maybe with an ult here and there, even though the ult has better AD scaling than it does AP. In fact, every ability he has does, besides W. The difference in build diversity when talking about these characters, specifically like Kai'Sa or Katarina, is that you have characters who go completely different playstyles, like Udyr, for example. You have AD Udyr versus AP Udyr, or you have Kog'Maw. It's AP Kog'Maw versus AD. The difference is, depending on what you build on those champions, they will play completely differently. Like, or when you're playing tank AP Udyr versus AD Udyr, that playstyle is completely different. Like, you're not going to play those two versions of the character the same. However, with champions like Kai'Sa or Katarina, it doesn't matter what you build, they play exactly the same. Like, there's no difference between a full AD and full AP Kai'Sa. They play the same. And especially, like, look at this game that I played recently. Look at that Kai'Sa build. What the fuck is that? Why does that work? There's no character in the game that should work like that. I'm ranting about Kai'Sa again. Ezreal's like a weird love-hate relationship because Ezreal is fun to play. He's very fun and very unique that he's an AD carry who has to aim his auto attacks, though I guess that's not unique to him anymore either. Zeri, she's right over there. Is he worse than Kai'Sa or Vayne? No, I don't think so, but he is very annoying. Oh, Bongo Blast! Sorry, Nino, I don't need to aim anything. Oh, I'm a genius. Like this, right now, this is very fun. Doing the WE combo, that's funny. However, 90% of the games I played of AP Ezreal are not like this. I get completely stomped out in laning phase because I can't farm for shit. Because my Q doesn't do any damage. I don't get any money. So, this is a rare instance where I actually have money to buy cool items. I think Ezreal also kind of works thematically for what his character is. He's kind of just jumping around, running all over the place. Though, weirdly enough, I think that brief phase, where most League Zoomers won't remember this, but there was a brief phase where Ezreal was a jungler. I'm pretty sure it's Samsung Gaming or Samsung White, whichever one it was. But that year of esports skins, I think it was Talia, Jarvan, Gnar, Zyra, and Ezreal. And you think, oh, well, you know, Talia's the mid laner, Gnar's top, Jarvan jungle, Zyra bot, so Ezreal was the sub AD carry. No. That was the sub-jungler, because that year, Ezreal was a jungler. I don't remember why it was a thing, but he was just, that was his best role, and he was one of the most contested jungle picks in the entire game, which felt even worse, because literally, like, the patch after Worlds happened that year, Riot killed jungle Ezreal. So imagine being a jungle main, having a skin dedicated to you, and then by the time that skin even comes out, that character can't even be played in that role anymore. But then again, it's his own fault for making his champion choice, like his own dedicated skin, be a flavor of the month. So I guess that's his fault more than anything. Though I actually kind of like the idea of Ezreal as a jungler more because he is an explorer. You'd think he would be traversing all over the map. You'd think he'd be traversing all over the map, finding new crazy things and crazy people and fighting crazy monsters. Like, that makes a bit more sense. As an AD carry, you kind of have to keep him there because that's the play style he's supposed to be. Though mid lane works too, because mid lane likes to roam a lot. I don't know. AD carry is just a bad role, I think, is what I'm inferring here. On the topic of skins, my god, he has a lot. I probably could not even come close to listing all of the ones off the top of my head, but he has a lot as a poster child of League. I think for a while he held the record for the most skins in the game, though I think now Misfortune has taken that back once again. Misfortune, Ari, Lux are up there. They always got the most, but I think in terms of male champions, he definitely has the most beyond all others. I think if Yone came out in 2009 or 2011, he would probably have the most, but as far as current champions go, yeah, he's got a ton. And man, he has a lot of special treatment too. He has an ultimate skin, 2 legendaries, a prestige, and even a wild rift. He has an exclusive wild rift legendary. Like, Mans has skins and skin variety for days. I think my favorite Ezreal skin is probably Arcade. I just think like a lot of the arcade skins, the classic ones, just did a really good job of capturing that feel. Oh, poor Ezreal. Oh, I'm Ezreal. I mean Zeri. I mean, are they friends? I don't remember the lore here. Oh. All planned, baby. Bongo blast. Oh, got him. All right. Well, I think the game was probably over. We did ace them, so probably going to call it there. I think I said everything I wanted to say about Ezreal, which I'm excited because now I don't have to talk about Ezreal anymore. And next week, I get to talk about Fiddlesticks after, like, what, like 3 years since 2020? I'm excited for that because I love Fiddlesticks. So thank you, fellas, for coming by this casual champion review. I'll see you in the next one, all right?